Hey guys, this is 4th Half Hawk. I wanted to fly through the map Storm the Bastion to show off kind of a significant change in the scale of the map. The map's now about 4 times larger, mostly new waterway. The Skull headquarters, which used to already be back by that beach, I moved way out here in the southwest corner. Now the only way to assault anywhere is by boat, so we're going to load this up with some new boats when we get those in games. Also using all temporary skins on these models, just have them here enough to get me in the game so I can do some testing. Here's where the boats are. They'll be in these little slips. If viewed from the air, the island is actually skull shaped. Gave him some horns this time. Looking pretty good. From the ground level here, you can see the outline of the Bastion through the fog. You can also see the lighthouse. I did get a model from Lawrence Brown, and it's looking really good in the editor. I can't put it in game because it doesn't have collision meshes, but hopefully we'll get that soon. If you're attacking on the east side of this map, you can run the gauntlet between the Bastion and this mound of dirt on the right, which is where the lighthouse will be. Pretty suicidal going that way, heavy cannon fire. You can also choose to kind of go a wider arc and land over here on this east beach. Made a little sandbar going from the beach over to the base of the lighthouse. You can assault it from underneath. A little bit better cover coming this way. If the undead take this point, they can either return to their boats and continue onto the town, which is to the right, or they can swim the channel here and get up on this little piece of terrain, which comes under here and heads around this way. Not a lot of cover, but anyways, faster than swimming all the way to the town and coming up the road. Here's where the terrain connects. You can see the way that the road wraps around underneath itself. There will be a bridge going from this mound on the right over to where the gate is. I do have a new gate that I want to show, but it's not here in game yet. Okay, this road will wrap down. Give myself quite a lot more space for the little pirate village, which will be in this area. We'll have the docks, a waterfront, number of house statics. Flying back around this way, one of the things in the concept art from BB recently was a little door down here. And we also had the early concept of a sewer gate, so I just threw this little static in right there. Maybe in future releases of the map we will get this working, but for right now that door doesn't go anywhere. Coming over here on the west side of the map, if I start back here by the skull base, you can actually take the boats around the back of the skull base. That right there, that tan line is the out of bounds. But I can mess with the combat area to make sure the boats stay within range of the cannons. Little Normandy beach. You can see that 2 of the cannons still have very good range on this beach right here. So again, not a definite given to come this way. But if you can anyways make it up this little hill, you wind up in the graveyard. I like the weeping willow trees here. I thought they were kind of nice. I would like to have this a little more misty, but in any case, in this area is where we'll put the 2 markers for the crew. Also got a new effect working this week. There's an ambient trigger over here where on the output side of the graveyard heading towards the church. If you cross through here, there's a chance that the church bells start ringing, and I'll show that here at the end of the video. Okay, here we are on the firing deck of the Bastion. When I restarted the map, threw me back just a little bit with my light mapping. I have to redo that. Still using temporary skins too. But here we are in the east tower. Really good view of the lighthouse from here. It's a very tall model, which is actually good because the undead taking that will have a counter sniping positions to keep these cannons suppressed, allowing the undead better access to the rest of the map. We'll probably put them up on platforms, but each notch here has a slice of the waterway. Here we are in the southeast corner. Cannot see the skull base from here. The out of bounds is just past that little island. Again, messing with the combat area, we can set a lot of that. From here you can protect yourself or anybody that's coming by land on that route I showed before. Again, even over here, boats are going to be coming through the fog, but you do have, 10-15 seconds to shoot at them before they get out of your arc. If you don't put enough people over here, you might have to hop from cannon to cannon, which I think would actually be kind of fun. Good view of the west beach up until you can get in the graveyard itself. Here's the 2 notches for the cannons over here. As I'm working on a map, I like to bring it in game often, shoot a lot of video to keep a record of what's going on. I created a local server, get my fraps up and running, and then I use console commands like sv.numplayers needed to start space 1 to get my server running with only me in it and not a lot of annoying messages. If you don't know your way around the menu, you can hit tab to pull up a full list. If you type the first part of a route, then hit tab. It will give you a full listing of
all the options that are available, and you can scroll up and down through here using page up and page down. Another nice feature is as you start to type a command and hit tab, get enough letters in there and it'll actually autocomplete instead of having to type all that out. So that command will get you running with just one player in the server. Another one I use often is renderer.drawHUD space 0. This gets rid of the mini-map and the ammo counters and all that stuff. To choose spawn calls, you need to turn all that back on. So use renderer.drawHUD space 1 gets you access back to all that again. Still working on the terrain on this side of the map, and I have to place all of my overgrowth. A number of statics need light maps, but I would like to get some beta testers going on this map to test how far these rifles will shoot once we get the player models in game, get the cannons and boats in game. I'd love to get the decks loaded up to those and see what it takes to kind of drive through the hail of fire coming that way. As I wrap up here, I want to show off an ambient effect, which is basically a hemisphere which starts right about here. If you cross into this area, it can trigger an effect, in this case a sound, so the church bells ringing. In this case they ring 3 times, and then the effect turns off for a minute or two, so the stupid bells aren't ringing the entire map, but I do like the use of ambient sounds here for an alarm. Guys coming up this way. Pegs will own this church too, so this beach is going to be pretty risky in the front. Hopefully that'll push some of the combat action through the lighthouse in the early stages. It's definitely a good place to head as an alternative if that's not working. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the walkthrough Storm the Bastion. Still quite a lot of work to do. Not real sure if we're going to get this in the first release or second, but quite a lot of progress going on. And next video coming soon.